Golden State Warriors got to try to trade Jimmy Butler this offseason in a closeout game, a game 5, where if you lose, you're done for the season. Your best player isn't playing. Jimmy Butler had 17 points, 0 for 3 from the 3, 4 for 11 overall. Terrible game from Jimmy Butler, bro. Jimmy Butler got outscored by his teammate Podziemski, who's damn near a rookie, right? He got outscored once again by Jonathan Kuminga, who came off the bench. I told you guys, Jonathan Kuminga should have started over Jimmy Butler in this series. We have to hold Steve Kerr accountable for this. You have Steve Kerr, who's a 4-time champion as the coach of the Golden State Warriors, right? We seen him bench Jason Tatum in the Olympics. Why would Steve Kerr not bench Jimmy Butler and start Jonathan Kuminga? I'll tell you guys why. So we found out before this game 5 that there's a lot of tension between Steve Kerr and Jonathan Kuminga, because during the regular season, there was multiple times where Jonathan Kuminga had the ball in his hands, Steph Curry was calling for the ball, and Jonathan Kuminga was waving him off, and that pissed off Steve Kerr. Obviously, because Stephen Curry's the best player on the team. He's the number one option. The offense flows through Steph Curry. So because of this, Steve Kerr cut his minutes. There was plenty of games where he didn't get any minutes at all. Jonathan Kuminga was a DNP, which means that he's not playing at all. And overall, he cut his minutes. We actually didn't see his minutes go up until this series because obviously Steph Curry was injured, Jimmy Butler was struggling, and Steve Kerr needed somebody to come off the bench and give some type of offense. Guys, besides Jonathan Kuminga, Moody was the only player that had 12 points. Everybody else barely scored. Moody had 12 points. Jonathan Kuminga had 26 points. That is terrible. This Golden State Warriors bench is horrifying, bro. It's terrible. You understand what I'm saying? But, bro, now I see why Pat Riley didn't want to give Jimmy Butler that extension. I apologize to Pat Riley. Pat Riley knew that Jimmy Butler was washed, right? It's obvious that those 2 NBA finals that Jimmy Butler took the Miami Heat to, it took a lot out of him. And Jimmy Butler is 35 years old. Now, I know a lot of people might say, oh, that's not that old. In basketball terms, bro, most NBA players, their career doesn't last till 35, bro. 35 is old as a basketball player. And what you guys got to understand is not everybody is LeBron James. Everybody ain't going to play and look good until they're 40 years old. Everybody doesn't invest over $1 million into their body to keep them playing until their 40s. Everybody's not Chris Paul and LeBron. You know, and even Chris Paul isn't playing as good as LeBron is playing at 40 years old right now. Plus, you know, Jimmy Butler, there's a chance that when he was in Miami, maybe he was drinking a lot of alcohol, not taking care of his body, not eating the right things, and it's catching up to him. Because he just didn't look like the same Jimmy Butler that we are used to seeing on the Miami Heat. You know, he had one game where he scored like 30 plus points. One game. You understand what I'm saying? But where is the aggressiveness from Jimmy Butler? Where is the aggressiveness to score? Why does Jimmy Butler look like Ben Simmons now? I just don't get it, y'all. I just don't get it, bro. I get when Steph Curry was on the court, you know, he was playing off of Steph. But with Steph off the court, why does Jimmy Butler feel like he doesn't need to score? Like besides you and Jonathan Kuminga, bro, like there's no player on the team that consistently is capable of scoring except for Jimmy Butler. So there's no excuse, man. And you know the craziest part is, y'all, when Jimmy Butler, first of all, Jimmy Butler didn't even want to go to the Warriors originally. We got to bring that up, right? He pretty much was forced to go to the Warriors, right? But he signed a contract extension for over $100 million. So the Golden State Warriors, they gave Jimmy Butler a 2-year, $121 million contract extension for this guy who's 35 years old that obviously is a shell of himself, man. Listen, the Golden State Warriors, they have to at least try to trade Jimmy Butler. The problem is I don't know if anybody's going to want him. You know, who's going to want to take a chance on a 35-year-old Jimmy Butler? Remember, he wanted to go to the Phoenix Suns, but the Phoenix Suns, they didn't try to get him. So even if Golden State tries to trade Jimmy Butler, there's a high possibility nobody's going to want to take a 35-year-old Jimmy Butler that has a $121 million contract. You understand what I'm saying? Obviously, we know Giannis is possibly going to be a free agent. Paul George, they're saying that the 76ers are going to trade Paul George. So maybe the Golden State Warriors can try to trade Jimmy Butler for Paul George. You're definitely not going to get Giannis, right? Let's just get that out the window. I don't see any chance in hell that the Milwaukee Bucks are going to trade their franchise player who won them a ring, Giannis, for Jimmy Butler, who's 35. Not going to happen, man. I'm extremely disappointed, man. Let me know what you guys think about this, man. I'm like, I looked at Jimmy Butler as a superstar, man, but this is very disappointing, seeing Jimmy Butler, how he played in the Miami Heat, to how he's playing now, man. The man's washed.